Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
One-third of the Union Army was black. And then get this. This is how bad things have gotten since in 157 years since. 159 years since. General Grant, before he became president, noted that he had had the whole Union Army tested for literacy. And he discovered that the only units in the whole Union Army that were completely literate were black. And then he says at first he was startled, but then it turned out not to be surprising because he said you never saw a black, well, he said colored, soldier without a book and something to practice his writing on. And whereas white soldiers didn't bathe, were dirty, smelly, had disease problems because of that, and were always getting drunk, black troops were always using their spare time to read and improve their minds. Now, what the hell happened between then and now?
Oh, yeah. Well, TV won. The TV.
And what is the TV doing? It's glorifying dysfunction.
Yeah.
Many kids for the last century have based their conceptualization of what things ought to be like on the basis, on what they have seen in the movies or on TV. And what is this dysfunction that they get on TV rammed down their throats where, you know, yeah, man, I got to be a gangster. Man, you little punk, you ain't going to be any damn gangster. You don't have the heart for it. Oh, yeah, man, it's all about pimping. Why the hell would you want to be a pimp? A pimp is one of the lowest, scurviest, most scumbag, slimy things on the planet's surface. Up until recently, a pimp in the penitentiary wound up sucking everybody's dick.
Wow.
The only thing lower on the totem pole than a pimp in a penitentiary was a pedophile. And then everybody fucked him, screwed him.
Wow.
And all that, man, you got to do time, man, so you understand being a man. See, I got a friend, lady that I've known for years that is a director down here at CDC, Center for Disease Control out of Atlanta. And she says that if anybody's been in jail for 18 months, there's a 90-some% probability that they've had at least 4 or 5 involuntary homosexual contacts, if not many more on a voluntary basis. So these dudes get in the penitentiary and get that butt beat out.
Wait, do you think they should separate populations or, separate the homosexuals?
No, I'm talking about everybody in there. They, like one client told me back, 40 years ago, 1980, almost 40 years ago, I had to interview this guy. My law partner had died, got shot to death. He'd been working on a big dope case where most of the people involved wound up dead, either the witnesses, the police, many police being defendants.
Wow.
And I had the only 2 clients out of the 40-some defendants who didn't wind up dead and having their cases abated by death. So anyway,
wow.
What just went down was crazy, It's stuff where 40-some years ago, I inherited one of his clients who was up in the penitentiary, and I had to file with the Court of Appeals permission to file a late appeal, so I got to go up there and talk to him. So he says, Lawyer Brown, man, it's like this, man. Like up here in the penitentiary, man, we got everything, man, we need, man. We got a thing going on. Only thing that we miss, man, is some soft booties. So, like, yeah, man, we got a girl, some of these dudes out, man. People up in here like me, man, doing life a long time, man. we get these short terms, man. We girl them out. See, they're gonna be wearing skirt minis. See them bitches over there, man, in black with them micro minis on, man, and all that long weave in their heads, man, and them sandals on, man. We be busting that booty out, man. And see over there, I said, y'all gonna ask you about that. What is this with this dude with his pants hung off his boat? Man, that's like a sign, man. It's like, see, we turn it, we girl and dude out, man.
Mm.
See, them trees over there, when the guards ain't around, man, we just bend him down, pull him down, and get down, man. When he get on the cell block, man, we make him take his pants off. Don't let him wear no drawers, man, and everybody be screwing him. That shirt, man, them baggy shirts they got him wearing, man, that's their dress.
Wow.
And we got Jamal, man, with a care package on the way from his sis, man, with some lipstick, mascara, eyeshadow, and plastic nails. We gonna girl dude all the way live. We already done made him some jewelry up in the metal department.
Mm.
And then what you see all these boys walking around with their pants belted right below their butts. Look like they about to be turned out in the jail.
Wow.
That gay thing. Yeah, man, you got to do what you got to do, man, when you're doing penitentiary. It's the man thing. No, it ain't no man thing. It's a gay thing.
Wow.
And see, some of those people, if you knew some of the people who were actually in the penitentiary and you had to work with them, like defending them,
Mm-hmm.
it's like Richard Pryor said on one of his joke albums. He's talking about when, whatever that white boy is that did that comedy movie with him, one of which was
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, all them brothers up in the penitentiary, one thing I got to say, man, thank God they got penitentiaries. See, these folk aren't up in there for playing Robin Hood, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. They're up in there for robbing their broke neighbors, up in there for raping their neighbors' daughters and their neighbors who are female, up in there for selling poison to the whole neighborhood, up in there for shooting up the neighborhood and killing kids, up in there for burning stuff up because they mad about something, hurting somebody in their neighborhood. See, they're just parasites. Cannibalistic parasites. Maybe they can become men eventually, but they aren't when they get off in there for the most part. They didn't do anything conscientious. It's just like the first Godfather movie say, well, you don't sell poison in there. Let the niggas get to sell the poison in their community where they live.
Mm.
Sorry for saying that word.
No, it's fine.
It ain't fine with me.
Mm.
That word got spread amongst us because some unruly girls who had children and hated their sons' daddies used to call their little snot-nosed 3, 4, and 5-year-old boys that and call them dogs, and the boys needed a bath. They hadn't been washed in 2 weeks, and they stank. And this was like 1976 or 77, and then you get up 10 years later, 1986, and now they're 13, 14. They had another 5 years, and then their early 20s, and guess what they're calling everything? Dog, hey, man, Ian, man, that's my Ian, man. Hey, dog, what's happening? See, that wasn't a man thing. That's from a little know-nothing child's mama.
Mm.
You saw Singleton's Boys in the Hood, it was that heifer that was Ice Cube's mama in the movie. She loved the one that was an athlete because she loved that boy's daddy. The smartest one was Ice Cube, but she couldn't stand him because she couldn't stand his daddy.
Mm.
She got all of her sons killed from her stupidity and triflingness.
Mm.
I grew up in a situation like Boys in the Hood, but it wasn't on the Crenshaw area. It was out there, Slauson and Normandy.
Mm.
If anybody knows L.A. I wasn't in any damn gang, but my group, just like the group in Boys in the Hood, had to put up with them damn fool girl boys in the hood that were playing gangbangers.
Mm-hmm.
See, the typical gangbanger is a lesbian in a boy's body. Ain't no man. They were little snot-nosed crybabies in elementary school, and then when they joined the posse up in the junior high or middle school, they get all badass. because they got backup. They used to be crying for their mamas with snot running down their nose and no daddy and no man training.
Mm-hmm.
Act like cannibals. I mean, if you had that happen, too bad. Now get over it. It ain't nothing to brag about. But they do because Hollywood bend over, has glorified that dysfunction.
And I'm glad you brought that up too. I mean, John Singleton just passed recently, may he rest in peace. But he also did another movie called Baby Boy that talks about that dysfunction as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hit it right on the head.
Like that one in there, baby. What we gonna do with my car? What you mean, your car? You ain't paid any note on it. That was his girlfriend. And
right.
Doing what Ben Reams played the man that came into his mama's life. Said, I'm gonna hurt you, fool. You don't man up. I like you talking about, mama. When we gonna throw him out of our house? She said, what the hell you mean, our house? You ain't paid any notes. You ain't got a job. So then he's all happy he got a job. You know what it is? Selling stolen women's clothes to the women, and he and his homeboy going off into the beauty salons, sissy as they can be, selling women's clothes to women that has been stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And in that one, they want to be a preacher. Mm-hmm. In that movie, that's the homicidal maniac with no scruples, typical preacher. He nailed that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just thought that was,
he did both.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw him give a talk on that.
Okay.
And they recorded it. He said the thing about Baby Boy is that he's doing things without realizing it that will keep him from being a man if he ever truly decides he wants to be one. Mm. And he doesn't know it. And that's true about a lot of what we do in our neighborhoods because there's no man around. It's all a matriarchy. It's not all, but it's mostly a matriarchy. We got a situation where 8 or 9 out of every 10 young male blacks, 20 and under, are born out of wedlock with no daddy in the household, ever. Not even a divorced daddy in the household. Mm. Or once in the household. Well, how they going to be men? I mean, they got little girls, 12, 13, 14, 15 having. And in juvenile court, this cesspool here in Memphis, Shelby County, they've got all of these males down there that are listed as the fathers of these babies that these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls have, which is a felony. It's considered rape. And they don't do anything about it. Don't even report them. And the statute says it is a criminal penalty to fail to knowingly fail to report such a thing. And they don't, because they're just interested in the money.
Wow. All right, man. I know
a woman. Yeah. I know a good friend of mine, woman, just in juvenile court. This guy has a job working, and he hadn't paid child support in 20 years. Never paid it. And they keep bringing him down there. They get their money out of it, and she gets nothing. And she's not on welfare, so she does not get a check. Now, if the person's on welfare, they'll go after the dude to get the money. And then they'll keep it in the regular account, earn interest, then take the interest out and put the interest in a non-interest bearing account. And then after a while, they'll take the money they've hijacked, put it in that account, and the woman winds up getting it 14 to 18 months after it's paid in, if it is.
Let me ask you this, Judge. You think it'd be better for people to work outside the court system?
Well, let's put it this way. Shelby County is the only place in the state of Tennessee that allows this, thanks to that clown Curtis Persons, who used to be head of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who also worked as a special judge for juvenile court, because the regular judge was a 6th grade dropout. The state Supreme Court had declared that he was incompetent to preside over a case. So he got it passed. Somebody needs to undo that corruption.
I just don't. I mean,
first time I appeared in that court, back in 1973 or 74, representing some people for legal services. This fool thought I was on his docket, and he called me the N-word, and I went off on his ass.
Mm.
And they locked my ass up for 5 days. The only time this has happened to a retired judge in the history of the state of Tennessee. And that's because they were getting revenge because of what I did, and I stood up for a woman they were trying to abuse down there.
Mm-hmm.
They ought to be ashamed of themselves, and that sleazy-ass Harold Horn needs his ass kicked.
Mm.
He's been sitting there ruining black folk for the last 30 years. Of course, I'm being figurative because somebody is probably listening, and he'll turn me in, and somebody will say I should be prosecuted for threatening a sitting judge, except he's not a judge. He's just a lawyer who was initially hired because the bastard, Kenneth Turner, glad his gay behind is dead for the wrong he had been doing, couldn't hear cases, so he hired all these lawyers to sit for what he got elected to do but couldn't do. It's a shame.
Well, that's a lot of, there's a lot of corruption, like it's like a lot of corruption that is wade through. I'm thinking about these mayoral candidates as you talk about these things. I'm just thinking about who can we trust to really take on all this massive corruption and do the right thing by the people.
Doc Harrington, and the reason they badmouth Harrington is he actually was straightening out the corruption.
Okay. He knows the system well.
Being corrupt, but it was penny change. Jock made millions of dollars being on the board of directors for General Motors, IBM, and major corporations.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need this old chicken change these people accused him of. They come out, you got 20 grand. Like, damn, you're getting 200,000 per meeting.
Yeah, I don't think he's corrupt. He like money. Of course he
was. He just dishonest clowns up. And then the other thing, when Shep Wilburn got appointed as juvenile court clerk, which was surprising,
mm-hmm.
he talked to me, and I had the late Judge Otis Higgs swear him in a couple of days early.
Mm.
And he had Randy Wade, who was with the sheriff's department, deputized some deputies to act for him, and they went down and seized all of these records at juvenile court. Mm-hmm. And we looked through them. And quite a number of our black elected officials had 14, 25, 10, 11, 9 children through juvenile court. And from reading the letters in the file, it was just flat out blackmail. They were trying to take all that stuff out, put it in file boxes, and they had a flatbed loaded up when the deputies seized the truck. And also, we got to look at the records out of First Tennessee, where they had been taking tax dollars, putting it into a sequestered non-interest-bearing account and using it as collateral for personal loans, car loans, home loans, and campaign finance.
This is child support money, right?
Yeah.
This is
one of the things that went in it is like there's an unsung, unreported thing right now. A lot of people, they get money taken out they think is FICA. And then a wife says, baby, what is this? Oh, that's FICA or something. No, it's not. And then they check, and they got a daughter, 42 years old, been married years, and find out that they've been getting money taken out of their checks for child support for a 42-year-old child. And then in one bad case I know, the father had custody of the child since she was 12 years old. Here she is 30 years later, and he finds out they're still taking money out of his check for child support.
Wow.
Goes up to Nashville and finds out every time she hits 18 on the books, they set her age back 5 years. So he's been trying to get his money back. The woman hasn't gotten it. The child hasn't gotten it. Where did it go? It goes in these accounts.
There ain't no way. That's not. I don't see how nobody goes to jail.
They ought to be in a federal or a state penitentiary.
Right. Well, how does like nobody goes to jail though? Y'all got the paper trail.
Well, that's why we had Brother Stanton III as U.S. attorney, and he was supposed to have taken care of that. If it had been somebody black with a white prosecutor, there'd have been all kinds of federal trials. He wanted to be a judge, so he kept his mouth shut, you know, didn't do his job.
Wow. I guess this is believable. I can't say it's unbelievable. I'll be lying to myself. This should not surprise me one bit. Man,